Welcome everybody, this is DKMR Varanus, and we've got a special article of sorts for you this week. Instead of my usual write-up, I thought we'd do a video about Arena. So this is going to be geared mostly towards beginners, but it's going to have a lot of applications for veteran Arena players as well, so I'll go into details about different picks I make and what kind of cards you're generally looking for in an Arena draft. So first off, for the newly initiated Hearthstone players, what is Arena? So Arena is this magical button right here. You can, as it says, you can forge a deck quickly from random cards. It's pretty much like your standard limited formats from other card games like Magic the Gathering. So it's kind of a mix of sealed and draft. You're given 33 card sets, and you pick one card out of each of those 3 card sets to build your 30 card deck with. There's no real options that you have in, say, sealed or draft from other card games where you can choose not to play cards. You're stuck with all the cards you pick. So you do have to be careful and make sure you always pick cards that you want to be in your deck. Sometimes you're not afforded those options, but we'll talk about those. We'll inevitably see 1 or 2 of those during our draft here. So what's the big deal about Arena? Well, the really cool thing about Arena is you can pay for it for free. You can use gold that you earn in-game from completing quests or just playing in play mode, whether that's casual or ranked, to pay for your arena runs. At the end of your arena run, you play until you get either 12 wins or 3 losses. Depending on how well you do, you always get a pack, and then you can get other prizes as well. And if you do really well, you can get as much as 3 to 4 times as much as this 150 gold is worth. So it can be a really profitable way to build your card collection early on. It does take time to play, but if you enjoy Arena and you don't mind spending the time, it's a really fun and a really cheap way to play Hearthstone. I mean, this is essentially the foundation of Hearthstone's free-to-play model. So, and if you haven't played Hearthstone before, if this is your first time logging in, your first Arena run is free. But afterwards, you either pay $1.99 or 150 gold. We got plenty of gold, so we're gonna pay that 150 gold. Then we're gonna talk about what hero to pick, and then what cards we should pick from there. Purchase complete. So we got a couple options here. We can choose between Rogue, Druid, or Warlock. You're always given 3 of the 9 heroes to choose from. We don't have a Mage here, but just to talk a little bit about Mage. Mage is generally considered the best class for Arena, and that's largely due to the hero power and some of the spells and minions that you have access to as a Mage. Some of the class cards. The reason the hero power is so good, Fire Blast, generally the 1 damage hero power, such as Druid and Rogue have as well, where they can you can use the hero power to deal 1 damage to either a minion or a hero, are very powerful in Arena, is because they allow you to, 1, remove any minion that has 1 health, and 2, they allow you your other minions to trade up for a minion that's likely stronger than they are. So for example, if you have a 2-mana 3/2 and your opponent has a 4-mana 4/4, that 2-mana card along with the hero power can trade up for that 4-mana minion. That's a big tempo advantage. It really helps you win games in Arena. The reason the Mage one in particular is so good is because you don't take any damage in the process. While taking damage to your hero is, generally you want to look at your life as a resource, and while it's usually not terrible to take damage to your hero, it's obviously better if you don't have to take damage. The hero power can also go over taunts in the case that you've got them incredibly low and just need to do damage to the face. It's not like the Rogue or the Druid where they have to attack, so a taunt would prevent them from doing damage to the hero if that's what you want. Mage has one of the most versatile hero powers. While I would probably argue the Warlock hero power is stronger and constructed because of the random nature of the cards that you get in Arena, the Warlock power is not quite as strong because you're not always drawing really heavy-hitting, powerful cards all the time. So, really, when you're looking at heroes, again, Mage is generally considered the best. They also have Flame Strike, which is one of the best board wipes, 7 mana, deal 4 damage to all opponents' minions, and Fireball, 4 mana, deal 6 damage to target minion or hero, and Frostbolt, 2 mana, deal 3 damage to target hero or minion and freeze that character. Those 3 cards really kind of set Mage apart, along with the hero power. So let's talk about the heroes we do have. So first we have Warlock. Warlock is an interesting class to choose. I wouldn't recommend it if you're new to Arena, as it can be pretty hard to draft an effective Warlock deck. Sometimes you want to go aggressive with this class, sometimes you want Sometimes you want to go more mid-range. It's really hard to build an effective Warlock class if you're a beginner. So, and I would say it's a little bit weaker than our other two classes we have access to at this point as well. So we have Druid and Rogue. Druid and Rogue are both very strong arena classes. So again, they both have that distinctive 1 damage hero power that we talked about. Druid having the shapeshift hero power that gives it 1 armor and 1 attack, and allowing it to attack either a hero or a minion and deal damage. You can also just use it as a means to build up armor in the form of life gain almost. And then Rogue has their Dagger Mastery hero power. It's 2 mana, gives you a weapon that can 2 durability and 1 attack. So you can also attack twice. It also works really well with some of their spells like Deadly Poison that gives a weapon plus 2 attack. So these are both really strong. I tend to prefer the Rogue over Druid just because of the quality of some of the minions and spells they have. Again, kind of like Mage, they have incredibly good removal spells. Eviscerate, 2 mana, deal 2 damage to target minion or hero, and combo, meaning if you played a card earlier in the same turn, it procs the combo portion of the text, which makes it do 4 damage instead of 2 damage. A really, really powerful removal spell. Can double as a burn spell as well. Very strong card. Backstab, 0 mana, deal 2 damage to an undamaged minion. Also very, very strong. Defias Ringleader I find is very strong in Rogue as well. A lot of Arena is about the curve, which I'll talk about in a second. And Defias Ringleader is really way above curve for a lot of the other minions, especially if you're going second, and you can coin them out on the first turn. It really puts you really far ahead. Again, Defias Ringleader is a 2 mana 2/2 with combo, also put a 2/1 into play. So it puts 2 minions on the play, sometimes on the first turn if you have the coin. Druid also has some really powerful cards as well. They have one of the best 5-drops in the game in Druid of the Claw, and they're really one of the only classes that capitalizes on the 5-drop slot, as there's a lot of weak cards for 5 mana, so it really helps you fill in that gap in the curve. They also have Swipe, which is 4 mana, deal 4 damage to target minion or hero, and 1 damage to all your opponent's other heroes and minions. Very, very strong removal spell, one of the best in the game. But I find Rogue to be slightly better. Just again, it's a little bit more of an early game deck, which I find like kind of early mid game is really where you want to focus in Arena. And again, their removal spells are top notch, a little bit better than Druid. They come down a little bit faster, really help you take advantage of that early game. So let's talk.